The smartest film critic in the world, Cole Smithey.
Hi, this is Cole Smithey with ColeSmithy.com and your guide to what to see and what to avoid at the movies this week. Since carving his name as a modern horror director to be reckoned with, James Wan has been moving steadily toward a less literal, more suspenseful approach to the genre.
What are you guys?
Well, we've been called ghost hunters, paranormal researchers.
But we prefer to be known simply as Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Wan's 2010 horror movie Insidious evinced a maturity of creepy style and suspenseful execution to rival even the impressive work of Ty West, The House of the Devil, arguably the best young horror filmmaker working today. Operating from a fact-based script, Wan serves up a memorable haunted house creepfest filled with ghastly surprises in a cool 70s retro gothic atmosphere.
Touches. It takes a toll on her. A little piece each time.
You have a lot of spirits in here.
Although anchored by a now cliched paranormal investigator plot device, Wan takes full advantage of the obvious narrative framework to escort the audience through a historically bound hell house where a working-class family find themselves trapped by an age-old malevolent spirit with a lot of ghastly history and deadly tricks up her sleeve. The Conjuring backs up its creaking floor and slamming door tropes with episodes of all-out terror to send its audience to bed with a worrisome feeling in the pit of their stomachs. Nightmares may follow. I give this good horror movie a B. At once the most micro and meta combination of cinema verite, documentary, and docudrama styles ever assembled, Joshua Oppenheimer's The Act of Killing is an earth-shattering cinematic experience. A challenging movie to throw into any cocktail party discussion, the parameters are deceptively straightforward, but also wildly ambitious. It helps to know in advance that Errol Morris and Werner Herzog agreed to executive produce the film. The 1965-66 genocide of more than 500,000 Chinese communists in Indonesia by military and freelance death squads, many consisting of self-proclaimed gangsters, aka free men, really unemployed racists, serves as the stepping-off point for Oppenheimer to inspire, enable, and encourage a handful of aging, remorseless killers to dramatize their deeds in whatever artistic trappings they choose. A shadowy film noir set, or a cheesy take on a 60s-era American war movie, gives the former executioners artistic opportunities to act out versions of their ideal selves when they tortured and killed thousands of men by hand for the fun of it. The leader of one such gang is Andrew Congo, an aging patriarch with a skinny frame and thinning gray hair. Congo fancies himself a cross between Al Pacino and Robert De Niro.
Penilaian satu sejarah berbalik. Bukan 180, 360 derajat itu berbalik.
He breaks into a cha-cha routine on the patio where he personally killed hundreds of men, either by shooting or by strangling with a long, sturdy piece of wire fixed to a pole at one end and with a wood handle at the other. The film's provocative title echoes throughout the movie in expanding meaning. Killing as an act takes on a host of different subjective and objective definitions, from the personal to the political. Congo and his equally culpable associates retain their gangster bond nearly 40 years after their punishment-free crimes. They gleefully orchestrate and perform peacefully symbolic movements in nature before a giant waterfall to the strains of Born Free. No amount of description can prepare an audience for the sickening levels of surreal irony of witnessing Congo and his men act out staged scenes of the violence they perpetrated against their neighbors, friends, and associates. One man brags about killing his Chinese girlfriend's father. Another defends his belief in the atrocities he committed and his willingness to be brought up before a war crimes tribunal at The Hague for the fame it will bring him.
Ini bapak yang PKI ini yang ngajar nih. Untung nggak dapat ke tangan awak dulu. Kalau dapat ke tangan awak mati.
The Act of Killing is a transforming movie. Every audience will be affected differently, but every single one will be changed by it. I give this perfect film an A+. My sleeper pick is Iceberg Slim, Portrait of a Pimp. My guilty pleasure pick is the animated children's movie Turbo. My must-have DVDs are Babette's Feast from the Criterion Collection, Ginger and Rosa from Lionsgate, and Kiss of the Damned from Magnolia Home Entertainment. The underlying satirical nature of William Wyler's post-war paean to soldiers returning home from World War II lurks throughout this beloved drama. The winner of 9 Academy Awards, including the only time an actor has won 2 Oscars for the same role, The Best Years of Our Lives is such a blatant example of American-produced propaganda that its blunt elements serve opposing purposes to its detailed context of approved social behavior, realities, and identities. Samuel Goldwyn first commissioned the script from war correspondent Michaeli Cantor, whose blank verse novella, Glory for Me, informed the finished product written by Robert E. Sherwood. When Sherwood allows the story's brimming social context to overflow with regularity, the complex scenes strike enduring dissonant chords that contradict every bit of gung-ho nostalgia and political brainwashing that the movie seems to parade. Each of the film's ex-military protagonists carry his battle scars differently. Emotionally insecure bombardier Captain Fred Derry, played by Dana Andrews, disregards his marriage to a local trollop. Rather, Fred woos Peggy, played by Teresa Wright, the vulnerable daughter of Sergeant Al Stevenson, a 40-year-old soldier Derry meets on his way back to the same Midwest town, Boone City. Also present is Homer Parrish, played by Harold Russell, a Navy man who lost both hands in an explosion. Homer has since mastered use of the hooks that attach from below his elbows. Economic realities are on prominent display. Well-off family man Sergeant Stevenson takes refuge in alcohol to numb his post-war depression. His patient wife Millie, played by Myrna Loy, is her husband's loyal keeper. Al's longtime mentor and bank owner, Mr. Milton, played by Ray Collins, gives Al a promotion from his former desk job to vice president in charge of small loans at a salary of $12,000 a year. Mr. Milton comes to regret his generosity in light of Al's favoritism toward fellow veterans with no collateral. Al publicly breaks company rank at a dinner hosted by Mr. Milton. The inebriated civilian professes love for his bank before representing it as a generous investor in the future of this country. During the speech, William Wyler keeps the camera on Al with a deep focus on Millie's telling facial expressions that translate her husband's intentionality to the other dinner guests. The distraction works, for the film audience at least. Still, Al Sharpton's days of gainful employment at Corn Belt Trust Company may be numbered. The scene that scratches the heavily music-cued movie sparks its inciting incident. Fred Derry works as a soda jerk at a local department store. A well-dressed gentleman wearing a ring on his left pinky orders a sandwich. Homer stops by for a chocolate sundae. The stranger wants to ask a personal question. Homer answers out of turn, giving his well-rehearsed explanation of how he uses his hooks. The stranger compliments Homer's braveness before expressing an unconventional opinion of the war. "You got plenty of guts. It's terrible when you see a guy like you that had to sacrifice himself, and for what?" Homer is confused. "We let ourselves get sold down the river. We were pushed into war. The leftist at the counter believes that the Germans and the Japs had nothing against us, they just wanted to fight the Limeys and the Reds. The opinionated stranger talks about the American people being deceived into a war by radicals in Washington. A fight ensues that exposes everything the soldiers have been hiding. They must fight forevermore. Thanks for watching, and visit ColeSmithy.com for more.